What is going on, everyone? My name's Boyd and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is Shelty. His opponent today in the blue color playing as Hades. His name is Brickhead. So a bit of a god swap here. Picking the map Watering Hole. Looking like Brickhead, sick of losing with Norse, wants to give his Greek a try. He's actually been pretty good with his Greek of late. He took a game off Joe. Or took a game of, I think, Joe's Zeus with his Hades. So he's no slouch with the Greek gods. So we'll see if he knows how to play Greek versus Norse. It's one thing to know how to play Norse versus Greek, but how do you play the opposite way is very important, because if you don't know how to abuse Norse's weaknesses, then Norse can be a bit of a menace. Norse can be a bit of a menace, and especially on this map with so much hunt, we do see the hippopotamus over here. So many gazelle here as well. Very nice to see for Shelty. I think he great hunted that one as well. So that's a thing indeed. You see more dwarves coming out for Shelty. I like this build order here. 3 villages on food first, following with the 2 gold, 1 wood. It's going to allow him to get a nice early house out, get the ox cart out, and feel very good about himself. A village is now coming over onto this wood line. It's actually quite a nice wood line, to be honest. Quite a nice wood line. Protects quite a bit, but it does actually block off these hippopotamus, which is a little bit annoying. So maybe he's just going to hope that Shelty forest fires this location here and gives opens this up so he can eat those hippopotamus. maybe we'll see that. And Brickhead's going 3 villages wood, 2 villages gold. So guys got 6 villages on food early. It's a little bit more than I like to see, because it does slow down that the classical age, like the units you need in the classical age, which slows down your Chiron. Basically slows down your Chiron. We see 3 villages on gold here for Brickhead. So it's a bit of an old build order. It does slow you down a little bit, and you have a little bit extra resources for some other stuff. So if Shelty's not ready to expect what Brickhead's going to use on him, he may be able to get something here. I wouldn't actually be too surprised if there's an Ares or an Athena like a rush here, just to like hit this gold mine. Because if he can push through and pick off this gold mine, this one over here is fairly open as well. There could be a wall over here or something with this tower being defended nicely, and maybe won't be able to push through that. But with the Cyclops, you should be able to push through anything like that. So we'll see if that happens or not. Here's the temple going up now for Shelty. Villagers popping out over here onto this savanna tree. Then we're on a watering hole. Temple going up. Yeah, I just said that. My brain. Trios bow over here in the corner. Strong relic, but not for the Norse players, unfortunately. It is really good for the Hades here. Got this nose of the Sphinx as well. Actually, couple that with the Hades bonus is very, very good. You see Ares is the god of choice for Brickhead as well. So he's actually, is he blindly going Ares? Yeah. I hate it when I see people do this. Okay. So Ares is probably on par with Athena if you can get value out of Pestilence. Right? If you can get value out of Pestilence, Ares is on par or better than Athena. But you have to know if you can get value out of the Pestilence or not. Because if you can't, then it's just like, you're just not gonna. Why not just go Athena? Get that restoration where you know you've got guaranteed value there. You can win a fight. Basically, any fight in the game you will win if you're not like behind, and you'll be really good. Villagers now taking down the hippopotamus. But let's see what happens here. The Ares coming up. Second town center here for Brickhead. So is he gonna, maybe he'll chuck down a Pestilence and pretend like it's a ceasefire or something, slowing Shelty down. Not sure. The settlement here does give him access to these. Is he getting out his heroes? No heroes here for him. So Getting out the town center, no heroes for harassment or defense is going to be a big deal because the Valkyrie is going to come out and he's going to be able to he's going to raid straight away, and it's going to be not those heroes out to defend or anything like that. But I guess there's not a lot that Brickhead could hit at this point, I guess. I mean, he could have moved in and harassed these Hersa with the Chiron at this point. Could have had it in the enemy base by now. We do see the Raven spots the immediate second town center here. And we'll see what happens there, but Wolfsark or Skraling checking out this location here. There is a open wood tree in this location as well though. So these villagers can retreat as long as that doesn't get blocked. Sentinels coming down now for Brickhead. Hippopotamus gets picked off as well. This location is going to be very, very good for him. Do we see any military buildings yet? No military buildings. Honestly, this town center would have actually probably been better than this forward town center to grab early because of this this amazing zebra here. That's 10 zebra. That's like 2,000 food as opposed to 900 food here. It's very, very good. The Cyclops chilling over here as the Valkyrie is going to come in and try and pick off this villager, but he can just jump, or she can just jump, I should say, into the town center and get completely safe. And then the Valkyrie's going to be hurting from the Sentinels and everything else. They're very inaccurate though. It's their thing. They've got like a track rating of 3.5. So if you can move in this game, these Sentinels will miss you. That's the general gist. We do see raiding cavalry here for Shelty. He's got 4 Hersa. He's going to be spamming those raiding cavalry, potentially moving forward to grab this town center. The raiding cavalry trying to get in here. They will be able to sneak past this villager who's not quite able to get the wall up there. Sometimes it's better to make sure the wall's up before you start it. And he ran away from the gate. He could have been running back and forth through that gate as much as he likes. Villagers now under attack. Gonna have to jump into this sentry tower. I know they're going straight for the town center here and take a little bit of damage onto those as well. And even losing another, that's so close. Almost picking that one off. Villagers over here are gonna be happily grabbing this hippopotamus because Chiron and Ajax coming over. There's the military academy and the archery range. For Brickhead, I don't mind this one at all, going Hoplite Toxote here against the raiding cavalry, or the pure raiding cavalry. It's a good idea. Going Hippocon to chase them around. It's never going to work for Hades because he does not get access to those crazy upgrades. Spirited Charge or Forest Fire coming down. Brickhead not paying attention to this. And those villagers are going to get picked off. Oh, he loses that villager there. Loses that villager over here. This raid is going absolutely crazy good for him. And Shelty then also gets medium raiders, which means he's going to pick off these villagers even faster and gets even more pickoffs. If Brickhead had turned around and fought that one immediately, he would have actually picked off all 4 of those raiders without losing anything. But instead, this raid does a crazy amount of damage like you would have never seen. Cyclops coming back. Raiders on the bottom over here run into the base and pick off another villager, trying to come onto this other wood line over here and hit these villagers here, but the wall's already up. This raid is going to be thwarted for the time being, but he is going to try and bash through this wooden wall. But it does get up, and then you started the wall segment, and that allowed Shelty to insta-kill that wall there. The villagers have to retreat. They're going to be turning onto these cavalry here to try and fight back, but there's just not that many villagers. There's too many raiding cavalry. The Cyclops does manage to pick off one of them, though, and we'll be able to throw that one. More villagers are getting picked off, and if we check this out, we've got 48 population for Brickhead to 77 population for Shelty, who is doing absolute work on Brickhead at this point with his raiding cavalry. Villagers now going to move forward onto the elephant over here. Some hoplite chilling in the middle of his base as well. Maybe going to think about moving forward with them, but they've already got some throwing action coming out for Shelty. He's going for this forward town center. He's done the damage that he needs to do. He's moving in now. He's going to try and pick off some villagers over here that are on these elephant and on this lion here, and he gets a nice surround on them, gets around the back. The villagers have to run forward instead of backwards to the town center. Going to lose even more villagers as Shelty is just all over Brickhead right now. Hoplites moving forward, ready to start picking off some of these cavalry, but Shelty can just leave now because he's got the speed advantage. Another villager getting picked off, and Shelty is out of there while he's getting this second town center up. What actually just insane play from Shelty. He's just everywhere on the map, and Brickhead's just too slow to deal with it at this point. 0% on almost both town centers there, as he's really low on food, on resources. He's kind of sitting at next to nothing on the resources, throwing down an armory now of all things. While he's just trying as he may to get that army composition going. The walls are back up. The Raiders coming in, going to be hitting those again. Does see the Catastropus and does kill the Catastropus, giving two population back to his opponent. But it's not going to be able to scout too much anymore. The wall going to be going down, and Shelty is going to be searching up here onto these villages over here. But this is the only real place where he's gathering from. These food villages are over here, and I think Shelty has sniffed that one out as he's heading straight there. And no reaction from Brickhead. He's chasing with the hoplites, but the villagers are all going to die before they get over there. And this is absolute doom right now for Brickhead, as losing this many villagers is complete and utter disaster for anyone. The Ajax does get a couple of jabs onto the Valkyrie, may almost pick off the Valkyrie. If he doesn't pick it off, it can heal itself up, or well, not heal itself up, but they can heal each other up and continue the raids. The Ajax does pick off that Valkyrie though, and will fall fairly fast afterwards, but it looks like Shelty is deciding to retreat instead. This location over here is being hunted still by Brickhead, and there's a lot of units over here for Shelty as he can move in and raid that, and he can pretend like something's happening over here while he hits this location as well. More longhouses coming down, more raiding cavalry coming in here, and these raiding cavalry are just distractions right now, pulling all of these hoplites away from this. And the raiding cavalry are still trying to find, and Shelty hits the heroic age. 11 minute 30, 2 town center heroic age for Shelty. Moving in now with the throwing axemen, trying to pick off some of these villages. Remember, these throwing axemen only do 4.5 damage to each of these villages, so it's really low. They need to basically hit the hoplites, otherwise it's a bad time for them. And now the raiders going to come back, but Brickhead doesn't wall back himself back in and trap those raiding cavalry in his base. And now more villages are going to get picked off as Brickhead was trying to push forward there. The Frost Giant comes in to help pick off another villager, and Shelty is just so far ahead. Is he going to be throwing up a hill fort here? He's even eating a double elephants right now in his front of his base, and he's completely fine with that. Pushing in the raiding cavalry coming back in. The units going to be diving into the town center to try and stay alive. And now Shelty is pushing onto this town center, but he's realizing it's a little bit too much. Does snipe one sentinel there in the back before trying to run away. Brickhead's going to be taking quite a bit of damage while he's running away, and that's going well for him, but he should be able to... Oh, Jesus, there's so many units now for Brickhead though. If we check out his population, he's sitting at 107. So this is like the crazy Greek army where he's over-armied over-militarized and under-economized because he was raided into the ground. And this is the only option for him. So he's going to go for that kind of nuclear option, run forward and try and just win with a gigantic army. And Shelty's going to have to spam out a lot of longhouses to make sure he can continuously reproduce. We do see the marker coming up for Shelty now. He's got only 700 food here, so not enough to advance, but it's a good amount. The Raiders coming back in, can be hitting this food yet again, and he has managed to move them, but is it too little too late? The Raiders coming in, and they will spot this, and these villagers are trying to sneak through as Shelty is trying to block them here, getting a lot of damage done to these villagers. The army from Brickhead not retreating back in time, and a lot of these villagers even every single one of these are falling as Shelty is just all over Brickhead, not allowing him to gather resources from anywhere. These hoplites way too slow to defend against this, and now Brickhead is on next to no food income. He's got 3 farms here and 1 in his base. 4 farms total, nothing on food. The hoplites coming back, the villagers moving back over onto the wood here actually, or onto the zebra maybe as well. And now heavy raiders is in for Shelty, picking off the sentinel here, picking off Ajax as well. And somehow, some way, shape or form, Brickhead is still not completely out of this game. I don't know how he's so close in score given how many villages he's lost, but it's happening here. And if we check this out, we see Shaft Mine coming in for Shelty, and just so much population for Brickhead though, and he's picking off villages yet again, somehow finding more villages here. These villagers snuck up onto this gold mine. The hoplite are here and they will be able to pick these raiders off, but Shelty will just retreat away from this and look for something else. We do have watchtowers are up, but no crenellation, so it's still kind of fine for Shelty to just run through Brickhead's base. He's not going to get any sort of damage done to him by these watchtowers. We just see some villagers moving forward, looking to grab this elephant here, and I think Shelty is already on top of this as he sees those villagers coming in. They're going to be hitting this ox cart, the villagers, or the gatherers I should say, turning into medium Olsark here to push Brickhead back yet again, picking off even more villages, and now the raiders are in here, but they will run straight through this town center. A little bit of a mistake there, more villagers getting picked off. We do see a Chiron coming in here to try and hit this ox cart, but he will die very, very fast as he's not being microed at all. And now Brickhead's back with these hoplite. He does hit the heroic age through Aphrodite, so he's got some sort of options here. He needs to think about what he can do, but we do have Shelty going through tier here, opting for that instead of the all-in Ragnarok. Even though, I mean, picking off this army basically means you win, so a Ragnarok would be able to do that. But Tyr will pick off even more economic damage and give him a little bit of an attack that he can do onto this one here. Check out the population. It's 121 for Shelty to 117 for Brickhead. As we do see the frost coming down now for Shelty as he's trying to kind of continue here to produce these frost giants. And there's a pestilence coming down. It does hit 2 of these longhouses, and Shelty's only got 3 military buildings now producing, and it's a slow process for the Norse player to produce those units. You do see a 3rd town center up for Shelty now as he's moving he's throwing axemen in here, and we're probably going to start seeing things like heavy infantry coming in, bowsaw quarry coming in as well. Ajax here gets instantly picked off as well, and then these throwing axemen turn back onto these frosted units which will have 99% armor, so any damage that they do is basically 1 damage a second, so you want to have as many ranged units as you possibly can here. And now the frost giants picking everything off here, and the Nemean line needs to be focused by one of these frost giants. Pick that one off. There's the tier, going to be casting that one onto the base. We see wolves spawning right on top of these villages, which is huge. Wolves over in the base over here going to be picking off reinforcements as well. And all of this is very, very difficult for Brickhead to come back from. He's got to be on less than 30 villages at this point. And oh my god, the Fimble Winter Wolves spawn on top of these villages as well, and they're going to be chasing them down as they're running towards the corner, and Brickhead taps out. GG, well played by Shelty. What an absolute raiding clinic here by Shelty, just showing how important it is to make sure that your villages are safe. I mean, if Brickhead had grabbed this town center instead of this one, I reckon he would have been completely safe from these raids, because he wouldn't have had to push outside of his base with his army to defend this location. Could have just sat in his base and just defended any raids coming in, played super slow, pushed out to grab this 3rd town center when he wanted to, instead of when, like never, he never got a 3rd town center, but this town center was perfect. 10 zebra here, 2,000 food would have been absolutely gigantic. Someone in chat wants to see the civilian chart, so we'll check out this craziness here. I don't want to click on it, but I'm gonna. We see the villagers. It's actually not even as bad as you would have thought, because Brickhead was 2 town centers. He was so far in front of the villager count here, and then as this game continued, the villagers kept catching back up, but kept on going back down, and in the end, with only 37 villagers left, Brickhead did tap out. So GG. Well played. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are enjoying my commentaries, please consider tapping the follow button or hitting that subscribe button on the YouTubes. It's completely free and it helps out a ton. So appreciate you guys if you do want to do that. We've got another game for you tonight, so we'll move on to it really soon. And stick with me and we'll get that one going.